Welcome to our COS meeting, February 13th, 2011 at 6:30 p.m. Our meeting was opened with a welcome and a prayer by Steve Morgan. Then we moved on to discussion of two book studies. The first book study would be the Four Agreements, and it will be something that we focus on during Lent. We have different groups that are forming group book studies to study the Four Agreements, and the Four Agreements are: be impeccable with your word, don't make assumptions, don't take anything personally, and always do your best. The second book study is the Five Practices of Fruitful Congregations. We are talking about radical hospitality, passionate worship, intentional faith development, risk-taking mission and service, and extravagant generosity. We'll be looking at the calendar to determine when this book study will take place, and we'll be communicating that information to you later. The next item on the agenda was reports, and we had various groups present reports. The first one was Todd Walker over Stewardship and Finance. He did an update for the 2010 financial results, and the total revenue for last year was $1,161,071.36. Our total expenses last year were $1,143,452.13. So we had a net total of $17,619.23, and we paid all conference apportionments from last year in full. The Stewardship and Finance Committee will be sending out a letter to the congregation, updating them on the financial reporting, and Todd will have a detailed monthly report at our next COS meeting. Our next report comes from lay leader Jens Holly, and Jens reported that he conducted all three worship services on Sunday, February 13th, and we had favorable comments made about his leadership and his sermons on that day. Donna Poston reported that there were 25 youth that attended annual youth conference in Columbia, February the 11th through the 13th, and all the youth had a wonderful time, and they had several youth that stepped forward that felt a calling in ministry. Don Little gave a report from the spiritual formation team. He said their team met January 8th for the day retreat, and established some assignments for 2011. And the Sister in Faith dinner was February the 11th, and they had over 240 people attending. 20% were non-St. Mark women. Jane Rubelow was the keynote speaker, and they're looking into putting together the Lenten booklets and spring quarter classes, and possible a Monday, Thursday event, and June special classes during Sunday school for 4 weeks on the book of Acts. Y'allship Ministry leader Rick Ham stated that the pictorial directory will take place on April 5th through the 9th and April 12th through the 16th, and they are also looking into having an Easter sunrise service with New Harmony. The pedometer program, Jody Gollin has agreed to be the leader of this program, and there will be 3 levels of participation in this program, and she'll be talking more about that later date. Now I'd like for us to take a few minutes and to look at what we want to do as a committee for this year and how we want to be involved and be mindful of God's purposes for us and in our duties here at St. Mark. So I'd like to take a minute to talk to you about what would life be like if we
got to accentuate the positive, eliminate the negative, and latch on to the affirmative. Don't mess with Mr. In Between.
Got to spread joy up to the maximum, bring gloom down to the minimum, and have faith, or pandemonium is liable to walk above the sea.
To illustrate my last remark, Jonah in the whale, Noah in the ark.
Well, what did they do just when everything looked so dark?
Man, they said you gotta accentuate the positive, eliminate the negative, and latch on to the affirmative, and don't mess with Mr. In Between. No, don't mess with Mr. In Between.
To illustrate your last remark, Jonah in the whale, Noah in the ark. Well, what did they do
when everything looked so dark?
What did they do?
What did they do? What did they do? They had to accentuate the positive,
eliminate the negative, latch on
to the affirmative. Don't mess with Mr. In Between. No, don't mess with Mr. In Between. No, don't mess with Mr. In Between.
I'd like for us to focus this year as a COS and to try to follow these 3 simple rules. And these are 3 simple rules that John Wesley gave. One was do no harm, the second is do good, and the third is stay in love with God. So to do no harm, first of all, I think we should focus on facts and not rumors. I challenge each of us to be rumor blockers. If we hear a rumor, don't pass it on. And the second thing would be refusing to gossip. Just don't do it. You know, if someone is passing along something that you know is not a fact, just let it end with you and don't pass along things that you know are not factual. Dealing with disagreements and conflicts openly and honestly, I think it's another thing that we should focus on in order to do no harm. And the next thing is, I want you to watch this short little video clip that I think is something that we all could focus on.
He doesn't walk very good, does he?
Thumper?
Yes, Mama.
What did your father tell you this morning?
If you can't say something nice, don't say nothing at all.
The second instruction from John Wesley is to do good. And that's just the golden rule. Do unto others as you would have them do unto you. And the last thing is to stay in love with God. And the way we can stay in love with God is through worship, Bible study, prayer, and taking care of others. I'd like to read Matthew 22:37 and 38. Jesus replied, "Love your Lord your God with all your heart and with all your soul and with all your mind, and this is the first and the greatest commandment. So I think if we focus on staying in love with God through Bible study, worship, prayers, scriptures, fasting, taking care of each other, and I think our focus this year and our goals that we're working on this year will take on a new meaning. You know, I feel like God's always telling us, I love you. And He's waiting for us to say, do you love me? And it just reminds me of, you know, when you were in grade school and you would get passed a love note that said check yes, no, or maybe. And sometimes I think that's what God is waiting on from us, is to tell Him, do we love Him? Yes, no, or maybe. And I think we can do that this year through our actions and letting God know how much we do love Him and stay in love with Him. I've also attached a covenant that covers these 3 simple rules that I'd like for us to, keep with your notes for the COS, and that we do no harm, we do good, and we stay in love with God. And so as a member of this committee, I declare to do no harm, do good, and stay in love with God. So I've attached this so you can have that covenant to keep it with your other information. The next thing that I'd like for us to do is to form prayer partners. And for those of you that were not in attendance at the meeting, I've attached your prayer partner to this email. And what I'd like for you to do is to spend time on a daily basis praying for your prayer partner. You know, as leaders of St. Mark, we have the opportunity this year to do no harm, do good, and stay in love with God. And I think that through working together and praying for each other, we can accomplish our goals and live more fully into God's purposes. So for your prayer partner, you can pray for your partner and his or her role into living into your purposes this year. May we experience radical hospitality, passionate worship, intentional faith development, risk-taking mission and service, and extravagant generosity. And also help each member of our committee to do no harm, to do good, and to stay in love with God. So I would challenge you to pray for your prayer partner on a daily basis. And our meeting was closed with Jeff Childress leading us in a closing prayer.